Welcome to Quantum Finance. My name is Parker. I'm the head trader here, but I am not a financial advisor and this is not financial advice. So in today's video, we'll take a look at the economic calendar, then we'll go over some news, and then we'll do our market recap and market analysis. So starting here on the economic calendar, today we did just get a short-term energy outlook. Nothing too significant there. And then tomorrow, Wednesday, June 7th, we do get crude oil inventories come out at 10:30. Now we can look at some news. So we did have the SEC file a lawsuit today against Coinbase. As you remember, they did file a lawsuit against Binance yesterday. So the SEC just in full attack of the entire cryptocurrency market. The head of the SEC, Gary Gensler, testified today, and he says we do not need digital assets because we have the dollar, the yen, and all these fiat currencies. So as you can see, the government trying to shut down their competition here. And here you can see the chart of Coinbase here, the stock price after the SEC lawsuit was announced, just a massive dump here. We also have the SEC seeking a restraining order in order to freeze Binance US's assets. And we also have universal basic income to be trialed in England. This is definitely a sign that CBDCs are coming. When you have a universal basic income, the government can just print unlimited amounts of money to keep the debt-based economic model going. And then they can also use it to contract and stimulate the economy because they can code the money to actually expire or lose value in a certain time period, forcing you to spend it. We also have a chart here showing the productivity growth versus the amount of compensation growth. And as you can see here, in 1971 is where it really split away when we did disconnect from the gold standard and go to a fiat standard monetary system. So now we can do our market recap starting here in the debt market with the US 10-year yield. As you can see, red day today, pulling down here into that midline, sitting right above that midline on the weekly as well. Looking at the dollar, as you can see, green day here in the dollar, just consolidating up here in the upper end of this daily range. Same thing here on the weekly chart. Turning to the stock market, as you can see, green day today, recovering after that pullback we got yesterday, pushing up here into this upper extreme on the daily and weekly charts. Turning to cryptocurrencies, we have XRP getting a nice recovery off of that Binance news from yesterday. As you can see, bouncing off this midline here on the daily chart. Looking at Bitcoin, as you can see, massive green day here. Pretty much taking back all the losses from that Binance news from yesterday. Turning to commodities, we have oil. Looking at oil, we do have a red day here in oil. As you can see, getting rejected off that midline on the daily chart. Getting a green candle here. As you can see, this will be the first green candle here on the monthly chart in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months. So it's been a while since we have had a green month here in oil. Looking at gold, small green day here in gold, still just kind of consolidating here in the lower end of this daily range. Looking at silver, same thing here. As you can see, slight green day, pretty much a doji candle here after getting rejected off of that midline. Now we can do our market analysis. We'll start with our volume analysis here on the S&P 500 Spider ETF. As you can see, low volume day today, but we did get majority buying coming in. A lot less volume this week so far than we have, the past couple of weeks. As you see, just pushing back up into that upper extreme. Now we can look at the 3-minute chart here. As you can see, we did get a gap down this morning. We did get back above the open and above yesterday's lows, getting a nice recovery here and a push for going in for a double top here, and then getting a pullback for another retest of the open, getting a little bounce here, going for another retest of that open, and then getting a nice recovery into the close here, going up for basically a triple top. Now we can zoom out a little bit here, looking at the 15-minute and 2-hour charts. As you can see here on the 15-minute chart, we did get that gap down into this lower extreme. As you can see, finding the lower extreme as support, getting a nice recovery off that level, getting our double top here and running into that upper extreme on that second test, and then getting rejected there and then pulling down into that lower extreme and then getting another bounce up for a retest of that same resistance level and the upper extreme again. As you can see, pretty volatile day, just bouncing between the extremes here. And if you do look at this pattern I kind of drew out, it does look like we have an ascending triangle forming here. Looking at the 2-hour chart here, as you can see, still sitting up here after this nice move to the upside. And if you look down here at momentum, as you can see, this kind of lower trend line here, as you see, it does kind of look like we are breaking down through that trend line. Now we can look at the VIX and the NASDAQ. As you see, the VIX just pushing down here, sitting at $13.99, breaking down below $14, as you see, the lowest level we've seen in quite a long time. As you can see down here on momentum, getting a bullish reversal, even though the price did sell off today. Looking at the NASDAQ here, as you see the NASDAQ on the momentum down here at the bottom did break down to the downside. But as you can see, still sitting up here, looking really strong, pulling down into this previous high as support. Now we can talk about some trades. We can go to our 1 minute chart and pull up our drawings here. So starting off the open, I thought today was going to be pretty bearish, to be honest. We did have the SEC suing Coinbase, and we did have a gap down, and we were super extended to the upside. But as you can see, it did have a strong morning. So I was mainly bearish. We did have kind of this small pattern here, looking more like a bull flag pattern with a VWAP bounce to just get that strong push to the upside. We did have a squeeze with downward momentum, and it was sitting below the open. So I didn't really like this pattern at all. I kind of avoided that one. But as you can see, it would have been a nice opportunity for a long. And then we also had this kind of ascending or rising wedge type pattern here. As you can see, this being a higher high. But it played out more of like an ascending triangle, as you can see, just getting a monster move to the upside. And it did have downward momentum as well, so I did not like this pattern either. But as you see, it could have been a decent opportunity for another long on that breakout. And then here we did have a descending triangle here after running into some serious price resistance from yesterday. And I did like this one because we did have a downward momentum shift squeeze. I did like this one for a short down to the VWAP area. And then continuing on here at about 12 o'clock, we did kind of have this broadening wedge pattern here, which is a bearish pattern. At this double top, I did like this because it did have a downward momentum squeeze, and I was bearish. So I did like this for a move back down here for another retest of VWAP. And there was another kind of squeeze here inside of this other breakdown from this broadening wedge. As you can see, I mean, it's kind of like a descending broadening wedge pattern. As you can see, just kind of this channel. And it did get its breakdown, pull back in, and that lower trend line didn't light up with VWAP. So this would have been a nice opportunity, to keep holding down, this short from this broadening wedge, or, getting an entry here at this VWAP rejection of this lower trend line here with this squeeze to the downside. I mean, this was upward momentum, but it did zero out, as you can see, for just a play down kind of towards this open. There was kind of another descending triangle here, but I did not like this pattern. And then here, as you can see, we did have a better descending triangle. This one was actually a nice pattern here after getting rejected off of VWAP with downward momentum. So this could have been a nice opportunity for a short back down to the open. And then here at about, 245, we did kind of have this like small cup and handle pattern. It didn't have the best momentum, but it could have been a nice opportunity because there was a lot of strength here in the morning, and we did fade most of the afternoon. So this could have been a nice kind of, play for a long back up towards, this previous high here, or towards those previous high of the day back here from this level up here. Then we did have a pretty nice rising wedge pattern going into the close. As you can see, this would have been a decent pattern as it was running into this significant resistance level up here from these previous price points earlier in the morning. So this could have been a decent opportunity just for a quick fade down towards VWAP. But yeah, pretty low volume week so far. Still just kind of consolidating up here. Not too much crazy action yet. Still just kind of sitting at that same range that we opened in. Today was kind of an inside day. So definitely be interesting to see what happens when the volume does pick up at some point this week. But as you can see over here on the weekly RSI extending to the upside, definitely getting a breakout here in RSI. But yeah, that'll do it for the video. Appreciate y'all watching, and I will talk to y'all later.